All right, hello and welcome. This is episode number 18. This is Dishonored, a game selected for the Game Pass library series that I've been doing here on the channel. The way it works, and if you have time, I ask you if you could go into the Game Pass library and choose a game title that you would like to see streamed and drop it in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube, or jump in on the live stream and jump into the chat and drop a title there. That's how I like to do these streams are based off of viewer requests. This specific game was requested by Joker 151517, hereby from this point on called Joker. And Dishonored is a very familiar game made by Arcane Studios. It was originally released back in 2012 and got a definitive edition, and then Dishonored 2 and a standalone expansion. And recently, Arcane Studios released a game that you're probably familiar with called Deathloop. So, what is Dishonored? Dishonored is a primarily a stealth style game. If you're familiar with any of Arcane Studios' other work, like Prey, or I think you'll probably have a good idea what it is that the game has to offer in the sense of story as well. There is a ton of it, and it's something that the team at Arcane has given a lot of love and attention to. Back in 2012, games like Borderlands 2, Journey, Mass Effect 3, Nintendo's Wii U was released. But there's a lot of stuff to love here. So let's jump in and we'll go over some of my feelings. This is not a review in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to go ahead and turn down some of the audio. It sounds loud to me, but we'll see here.
Citizens and visitors to our city, by order of the Regent, the curfew is now active. No foot traffic is allowed across Caldwell's Bridge until curfew is lifted. Attention all citizens, no pedestrian movement is allowed along Caldwell's Bridge during this period. Curfew will end tomorrow morning at sunrise.
Now, you're going to have a lot of those interjections of NPC dialogue, world dialogue, environmental storytelling is very apparent here. The love and attention to detail and the amount of content and activity that the player partakes in to get through a specific mission is very heavy. The combat here is visceral. There's a lot of stealth. Your quick access wheels will get you where you need to be and with the skills that you need. And we'll talk about those as we're playing. The way that loot works is there's all sorts. It's sort of an on-demand and instant healing items. There's bullets, coins, copper wire, combo safes that you can unlock, and paintings that you can collect, among other things. That's just a quick taste of what it is that the game is going to be asking of you when it comes to collecting those things. All right, so I'm on a mission, and you can see what kind of mission it is here in the menu. I'm on abducting Sokolov. This is, I would say, a good chunk of the game behind me, and I have a good chunk still ahead of me. As I select each one of these, I can turn them on, turn them off. I have to deactivate a checkpoint, find and enter Sokolov's home. There can also be optional mission tasks that you can partake in, just side distractions, if you will, if you want to increase your powers or your bone charms. Mission clues is sort of a synopsis or the elevator pitch of what it is that the player needs to be doing, and specific items that you possibly have to collect or have collected. I said before that the game is extremely heavy in lore. It is dripping with it, and it is delicious. So if you enjoy lore in a game, it is all over it. It is placed generously around the world for you to discover, which begs the kind of question, and it can spark a conversation whether or not fire hosing lore at people where it's constantly coming at them or allowing it to be self-paced. There's a balance there, and I think they balanced it perfectly. They give players enough of the story and the lore and the relevance to what it is that they're doing. But then there's a ton more written notes that you can pick up, books that you can pick up, and also audiographs, audio plays of characters in the game talking about what it is that they're
Corvo's
experiencing.
unconscious again, though he's taken more punishment than any 2 men we brought in for interrogation. When he wakes, we'll start again.
I also like this that you're able to listen to the audio recordings while you're continuing to play the game. It kind of lets you continue to follow along and pick up on small details while you're playing, while you're searching, while you're exploring. And I'm starting to use the explore as EXP, gaining experience, and through lore. So explore is something that I've sort of had a kind of hovering in the back of my mind as I'm playing these games. And you're going to want to follow all the characters. And here's this guy. He is a constant voice or public service announcement through a lot of these levels. And it'll also change the way that each level is approached based on how many people you kill, how many civilians you kill, how many bodies you leave around. When you go back into that area or into that mission, you'll see that the guards that are patrolling the area have upped their game based on things that you had left behind. Uh, Loading screens, there are a lot of them. They're in between sections that you move around. See, I was in a level and I'm moving into another section of level. There's a load screen, but you can see that it's already loaded. Again, I'm kind of leaving this screen up, but it is relatively fast. Like if I wanted to go back, it's instant. It's pretty much instant. I'm playing on an Xbox Series X, so that gives me a little bit of an advantage. I'm sure it was a little longer on the Xbox 360, a little bit better on the Xbox One. But I don't think it's too much of an issue if you're playing on Xbox Series X. All right, so I talked before about lore, and I'm going to spend a good amount of time talking about sort of the implementation of the way that the game gives players control and the lore. Follow all characters around, talk to them. I'm coming up on a scene here, and instead of barging in on them, I will listen.
Sure, like that Sokolov. He's doing fine. Always a lot of exotic items coming and going from his place. Keeps this place running, at least for now.
Yes, yes, if by exotic you mean foul-smelling as a witch's bottom. The royal physician will be fine too until he crosses the wrong man.
Moves over. Down! I need more men! Watch it! Take it!
All right, so not quite sure how they saw me behind here. They probably walked over this way and saw me immediately, and I wasn't paying attention. But we'll talk about combat here shortly. Now, the way that you can approach a different mission is pretty much play your way. There's a dog right here that's probably going to sense me. Got to keep an eye on him. You can go high, you can go low, you can go full out assassin, you can go full out Terminator, you can go stealth. You play your way, and they advert this game very heavily on allowing you the flexibility. And the overall premise of the game, and to kind of get you started on what it is that is happening, you are solving a mystery that happened at the very beginning of the game. Somebody died, and somebody was abducted, and you're trying to get that person back and find out who actually assassinated that person. There's a rat plague going throughout the city, and there's little bits and pieces littered around the world that kind of advertise who's trying to fix the plague. And there's this really cool interaction between two characters that are trying to make the cure, and it's plastered in posters. Like I said, going back to some of the lore, it's everywhere. And if you spend the time, and it's a really cool bit, if you spend the time looking at all the letters, looking at the advertisements, I want to say advertisements, then you'll find things that you'll come across later in the games. Like, hey, I already know about that because I spent the time kind of observing the world around me. All right, so a little bit about combat. Now, you have a right hand and left hand option. Now, the right hand is currently my blade, and it is usually always your blade. It's your left hand that you can change into a different ability. Crossbows, different types of bolts for the crossbow, a heart, which I'll talk about later. It's the I'll call her the Queen of Lore because she gives you a ton of extra little bits. You can put up traps, throw grenades. You can switch to a pistol. And again, if I pull my left trigger, I'll be shooting rounds. And then you've got your powers. And you can see in the bottom left corner of the screen how I select each one of these. So I can have 4 quick use directions that I can press. And right now I have it on 3 different powers: Dark Vision, Blink, and Devouring Swarm. Now I've chosen these 3 to be the ones that I prefer to use in combat, but there are others, and we'll kind of show that. Top left of the screen, I have my health and also my mana that I use for these blue shaded powers right here. And then I have how many rounds I have for the currently equipped weapon. So you can see I have 9 bullets. If I switched over to my crossbow, that would switch to my crossbow. Now, over in the bottom right is the mana vials or elixirs that I have available to replenish that bar, and then also the elixirs that increase my health. So we'll go ahead and drink one of those right now. I talked about specific types of powers. Over here is the selection of powers that you have and that you can upgrade. On the bottom I have enhancements, and on the top I have powers. Now the powers have specific levels depending on how many runes that you spend and that you collect throughout the world. And the way that you collect those runes and the way that you collect these bone charms, which we'll talk a little bit about later, is through that heart that we talked about, the Queen of Lore. And then you can add those runes to unlock these initially, and then also to make them more powerful. You can see how Devouring Swarm here has been given a little bit more attention because I like this ability. But you could, again, have all of these and have each one of them. You could have 4 of these selected inside of your quick up, down, left, right. You'll have all of them available to you to select on the fly. So you're going into each mission with all of these abilities if you've unlocked them. Now, bone charms you'll also collect throughout the levels and throughout the missions, and they give you little perks. They give you the ability, and I've activated 10 of them. 4 of those slots at the bottom are part of expansions for the game. There's 4 expansions. You don't have to choose to have those. You can have upwards, I think, of a max of 6. But if you have a lot of them, then you're a little bit more perked up, if you will. So some of the options that you have for bone charms are: food heals you slightly more with healthy appetite. I have swift shadow, move forward slightly faster while in stealth mode. Carrion killer, killing rats gives you some adrenaline, and we'll kind of talk about some of the things that you'll see actually happen. Fencer, win sword versus sword. So if I'm ever swiping my sword at the same time another person swipes the sword, then we're kind of in this back and forth battle. I'll win more often. White rats won't attack you, and we'll see a bunch of this kind of stuff happening. And I can actually consume white rats for mana. Inventory is sort of some of the things that you can pick up in the world. We talked about runes. Folded Galvani resin is something that is a blueprint, and coins you'll pick up from killed enemies just littered around the world inside drawers, on top of cabinets. Rewire tool is something that you take control of some of the electronic devices throughout the game. and then you can pick up the elixirs and the remedies. Again, Sokolov and Piero, are the two scientists that, or mad scientists, if you will, that are kind of competing between each other. And again, you can find out all their backgrounds just by reading this lore. And it is so beautifully constructed world that to play in. And the NPCs are memorable. The characters that you meet, even the smallest ones, are memorable. And if we bump into some of them, you may recognize some voices and actors and actresses that do the voice of some of these characters. Their voices are immediately recognizable. So that is primarily our inventory. Keys that you pick up will unlock doors, gadgets that you currently have equipped, ammo, what your ammo numbers are, and then upgrades that you've selected and that you have currently assigned. Again, this is just menu stuff, initial looks at what the game has in options. Copper wires are resources that you'll collect to then take back and upgrade some of your items. There's a small heartbeat, if you can hear that. I also feel it in my controller. Now that heartbeat is this girl right here. Now I call her a girl. She is the heart of a living thing. What that living thing is for you to discover. But you can also see these markers. So when I have the heart equipped, the heart will help me find those runes and those bone charms littered throughout the world. Now I could turn these little icons off right here, and the only thing I'll see are these slight red colors. You can see how this one is a little bit closer. It's 19 meters away, so the heart beats faster. But you notice I have to be pointing in the relative direction of the item I'm trying to collect, or it just has to turn red. You can see how it doesn't turn red, but the icon's still there. If I don't have the heart equipped, I will get sort of a humming sound or a heartbeat in the controller vibration. So it's not as if you're going to miss everything. So again, I could go through this house, or I could go straight down the middle of this road. Or I could take the high ground, which is one of my powers, which I'll show you now. And I can move around this way. There are so many options, so many ways to play. It is a fun and enjoyable sandbox. And explore, explore, explore. If not for resources and food and coin, then just to find new things about characters. All right, so we talked about the, and if you can hear the slight song, we'll call it a song. It's like a hissing in the background. That is telling you that there's a item to collect nearby. Now, if I selected my heart, you can see how the heart's now going crazy. There's actually a rune inside this chest. If I wanted to figure out how to get in here, what the combo is, and you can see that combo right here. I don't know the combo right now, but it could be somewhere in the room. It could have been on a previous note that I found later in the game. But we'll go ahead and read these to see if maybe we can discover what that combo is. The Isle of Morley. Now, these are a lot of what you find throughout the world. And if you read these, if you spend the time, it will foreshadow characters that you may meet later on, locations that you'll find and be exploring later. One of those was called the Golden Cat. In the very beginning of the game, there were advertisements littered along the walls of the game for the Golden Cat, and also for another hub area called the Hound Pit. And again, these were just posters on a wall, and I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. And then I would come across that thing later. Or somebody would mention in these notes or books a character or a place, and I would then come across that. And because I spent the time reading these lore pieces, I became, the initial euphoria was like, wow, this is what they were talking about. This is that location. And there are a ton of locations mentioned, and I'll just say a couple. Like there's Dunwall Tower, White Cliff, Coldridge Prison. Some of these places you actually play in and have a gameplay space. Some are just talked about, or I just haven't seen them yet. We talked about the Hound Pits. That's a pub. Dunwall Sewers, Rinhaven River, Golden Cat we talked about, and Pandisia. Pandesia, maybe that's how you pronounce that. But again, all sorts of lore, all sorts of locations, tons and tons of characters. Corvo Atano is the character that you play. Jeff Cornow is a character that you'll become familiar with his niece Callista. Callista is actually voiced by Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, who plays Cersei Lannister. The Empress Jessamine, Samuel, your boat driver. There's so many good characters. Each one of these are well thought out, and you will remember who they are. Granny Rags is one of my favorite characters. Gwyn and Arthur and characters like Lena and Benji are mentioned in letters like this. But I will leave the descriptions of... Here, let's see if there's a reminder. Remember that the truth is in the paintings. The way to the truth starts in the crowded streets. Continue until you see an anchored whaling ship. From there, find the slaughterhouse, and the truth will be revealed to you. So I'm going to take this as the combination to that safe. Now, it's very cryptic, and it is broad speaking. It is not just, here's your combo, put this into the safe. You have to go out and find the clues, or this is one of those clues. Now, it's telling me, start in the crowded streets. Go to the whaling ship, and then slaughterhouse. So we'll say streets, ship, slaughterhouse. Streets, ship, slaughterhouse. Streets, ship, slaughterhouse. There's a ship. That's a warehouse. I'm not seeing too many clues immediately. And in the interest of time, I'll let you guys. So you can see how I picked up a cigarette box. That gave me some coin as well. I don't know, maybe that's a 6. That is a whaling ship. Possibly could be a clue. Maybe I need to go downstairs. There's a slaughterhouse. Oh, there's a 3 right there. So the 3 is the last number. Streets, ship, slaughterhouse. Tasty food. And the fact that the character actually chews. Alright, let's keep going down. Here's the streets. Alright, so 4 something 3. Alright, these are rewiring tools. Again, you can pick things up throughout the world. Explore the space. Explore the space. You can pick up items and toss them to possibly gain their attention. Always shut your doors. You could walk past a patrolling officer. Alright, so streets, ship, 4 something 3. Now I could take that information. That's some money right there. Steal a guy's medal. Maybe a 4-6. Do we think that's a 6? Oh wait, there's right there. Never mind. 7. So 4-7-3 on the whole of the ship. So 4-7-3. And now we have another rune. And if we go into the runes, we have 2, and you'll see the cost of it as I cycle through these. Bending time, that slows down time. I think I'll actually go ahead and grab that one. Bend time. Press the left trigger to slow the world around you for a short time. At level 2, time is completely stopped. Let me kind of show you. Now you can see the wheel has gotten larger, but I can switch between and have now 4 of my powers now selected at the bottom left. All right, let's go back out to the streets. Now, as you get more and more familiar with combat, you could be very direct, and if you don't want to, you're going to be stealthy, and you have this ability to lean out. Now, it's kind of an interesting system because if I leaned out this far, someone would definitely see my head, but because I'm leaning out from a position that's actually behind and not in someone's view, then I'm not seen. So the leaning mechanism, you have to kind of get used to and have some faith in. And safely get down to a lower level. All right, here's the coins that you can pick up. If you can, try to eat food that's in the world instead of using the bottom right health elixirs. You'll save your elixirs for when you really, really need them. Okay, so for combat, we talked about the wheel, and there's also timed parries, which you probably saw me in the previous combat. Again, it's a pretty generous window for you to initiate that parry. So again, I could go up that direction. I think I'll go this direction.
There was a time when we didn't need these things to keep a gang of kids down. I think since the plague hit, none of them expects to live past 20. So why be scared of anything?
Hey, you there! Show yourself! City Watch, wake up! We've got some lowlife in curfew. With the alarm!
I don't know if they see me, they've heard me, or there's another citizen. I may have missed a... Alright, I'm gonna have my rats ready. I love this rats ability. Nope, they're coming at me. Alright, so rats... Alright. Get the other guy. Whoop. Running out of health here. So let's get my bolts ready. And let's have my pistol ready. And let's keep the rats. Keep them ready. And maybe slow down time.
Take out his legs. Just die.
See if we can parry. Alright, that was a good parry. Well done, me. I did use a ton of resources. Last time I tried to do this episode stream, I died a lot, and it became a stream of death. Hopefully I do a little bit better here. Alright, I think I got all the loot from those guys. And again, as I've killed more and more of these characters, if I come back to this area, there may be more Weepers, and the Weepers are those that have succumbed to the rat plague. So your actions will affect not only future missions, but also your endings. Audio is another thing that's really great in this game. An excellent job by the audio team and Daniel Licht. The atmosphere and I don't know, just the composer did a great job of creating this sense of, and it's very dynamic based on where you're at and what it is that you're watching. Here's what I talked about the advertisements plastered. And these are a little more prominent, like the Golden Cat. I saw that well before I actually arrived at the Golden Cat. The Golden Cat is a cool place to visit. The Hound Pits is a area that you'll return to and become familiar with between missions, talking to characters, etc. Wanted posters. This is me. There I am right there. Yay. And then this character right down here is a person that I took out before. That's me right there. And Bitterleaf Crematorium and Fluid Works. I'm probably going to see that location at some point. Yeah, the story is very clean. It's very it's presented very well, and it's also something cool to look forward to. The thing about the Game Pass library is it gives access to games that I might not partake in, and you'll see that in some of my other episodes. Now, I played and I've completed Dishonored back in 2013, so it's been a while. But even after I finished this, I have the standalone expansions for Dishonored 2. I have the expansions to this game. There's 4 of them, and I have Dishonored 2. So this game quickly gets its hooks in. And the Game Pass library selections, they all are great games. And the viewers that have given me suggestions have all picked great games, so thank you to the viewers for giving me excellent suggestions. Alright, I hear some rats. They're eating the leftovers. This guy might get me. Alright, I need health, so food would be a really good thing. Let's go back here. I believe I had some food left back here. I believe I'm out of health. I am. I believe there are 2 cans of food over here somewhere. There we are. Alright, that gives me a little bit. Alright, so there are objective markers littered throughout your mission. There are some players that prefer to discover things on their own or not always be given a breadcrumb to follow. And you do have the ability to turn those things off. So you can come in here to the options menu. You've got general, you've got controls, you've got system, and you've got audio. Now, if you go to General and you go to User Interface, you can turn a bunch of stuff off. You can turn your entire HUD off and play in full immersion. But if you also want to make sure that you're, like also up here, actually that's back here, I apologize. If I go into here, you can turn off your markers, as I had mentioned before, and now that marker that was pointing me there is no longer there. So I find that in, like, say for a game like Cyberpunk 2077, I've turned off all the HUD, so I don't have a map. I don't have, the only thing I have is a marker that sends me in a general direction, and I wish I could turn that off. But now, because I don't have a breadcrumb to follow, I am required to explore, and if I want to know what my mission is, I just press the select button. I need to abduct Sokolov, I need to deactivate the checkpoint spotlights, and then I need to find and enter Sokolov's home. Now, I know what the objectives are, but I don't have a constant reminder. So that kind of gives me the freedom to explore. So I like the options that the game gives you. There's only 2 things that I found so far, and I won't call these bads, I'll just call these others. And really, I think that's only one. I've noticed that shadows for characters that are above you, let's say that we're in this, let's go in here real quick. Oh, there's somebody in there. Now, let's say that there was a enemy right above me. Sometimes their shadows will bleed through to the ceiling, so I'll know where they're at. And no, that's not a product of me using an ability like Dark Vision, where Dark Vision allows you to see through walls and show up like this. I'm talking about a dark gray shadow will kind of, and that's the only thing I think I've seen. All right, there's some coin. Game 1. Jack. 0 0 0 3 3 3 3 3, and then they shot each other. Corpse. I wish it would tell me who's who. You can pick up corpses, and you can use them if there's an area that has a lot of rats, and you can toss their body down and have the rats focused on that versus you. All right. I think... All right, this is whale oil right here. And I need to charge something. You know, it's instances like this and some of the architecture that reminds me of Half-Life. Okay. Caution. And again, here's reload times. I mean, reload times are fairly quick, and the automatic checkpoints are generous. But if you ever want to make your own checkpoint, because you're messing around and doing stupid stuff like I just did, you can go into the start menu, save the game. And for the longest time, I thought this, you see how the date that I'm saving it on, and I am currently in Japan, so it's the 28th for me. You'll notice that I thought I had been playing for 10 hours, 50 minutes, and 22 seconds. But that's just the time of day that I've saved it. So right now it's 10:50 for me in the morning. I was like, wow, I can't believe I put 12 hours into this game so far. But that's not true. It's just the time. Anyway, so now I've created my own checkpoint. But again, the automatic checkpoints are generous. So, sealed by order of the City Watch. Warning, pestilence. This facility has been condemned. Enter on penalty of death. Okay, let's enter. Again, this is another direction I probably could have come. Alright, so I'm trying to get across this bridge. I'm sure there's multiple ways I could go at this. Alright, we already know what that thing does to people. I probably need to turn it off. Let's go underneath. I want to try to get a stealth kill. kill an enemy from behind, but I think because I alerted them before, they've pretty much cleared out of here. You guys think I can hit that guy with a bolt? It would be awesome if I could get the... Sometimes there's a slowdown animation for hitting him in the head. Oh! No, I didn't hit him in the head, but I think I... Oh, I thought I hit him in the head. There, he's dead. Oh, I thought that slowdown was me hitting him in the head. Alright, so... Let's see what this turns off. Alright, great. So this is the wire, which goes over to that. Alright, so I do want to pull this power. Again, I can use this as a grenade because it's very volatile. I could end up blowing up myself or enemies if used correctly. Again, I can toss it. Also need to watch out for tripwires because those exist. This chain I could also climb, or we could see what's over here. Let's climb up that chain. Let's see what's... These chains are done really well. Sometimes I've been in games that have chains that really make it hard to jump off of them, or you're confused on which direction your character needs to be faced. But it's all based on where the camera is facing. Alright, I have another one of those Tesla Zap. Now you notice whenever I use my powers over on the mana, if I use a power, it will deplete slightly. As long as you don't immediately use it again, it'll recharge up for you. And you'll only lose a fraction. These guys are whistling this song a lot. Who did I alert? Oh, this guy right here. Let's see if we can assassinate this guy. Now I've got a power that if I can assassinate an enemy without them knowing, then I guess it wouldn't be an assassination if it wasn't with them not knowing. All right, let's see. Okay, they're below. I wonder if I can walk down this right here. Whoa. Oh no, I got hit from behind. Again, there's a bunch of really cool bits in this game. If you're ever in an area that has civilians and you kill a civilian, that's considered a capital crime, and it can trigger other NPCs. Um, like the tutorials that are available to you in the game are also plentiful. If you go into your powers, you can see as I select each one of them in the bottom right corner, there's a tutorial here, and these are the tutorials that you pick up. I have seen other games that have given you sort of a video of what it is that you need to do, but this one does it fairly well with these little art pieces, which I really like art. It adds to the overall lore. All right, let's see. All right, let's take out... Oh, I missed him. Let's shoot this guy with a bolt. I think you can get your bolts back. Yep. Don't turn around, don't turn around. Alright, there's a key that I might need. Somebody else. If they get out of that, I'll have a bullet ready for them. Now, I can actually eat these white ones, and they'll give me some of my blue mana back. And again, that's one of the perks that I have. And those are from these bone charms. So if I call in a group of rats who are helping me, then I can actually consume a white rat with Gutter Feast. Little combinations like that can make a build that you decide to put together very unique to the player.
No time to blow a cloud. We got somebody about.
And again, I could, if I needed to, I could go back into the objectives, turn on my markers, and then I know exactly where I need to go. Drawbridge spotlights. So I kind of forgot what my mission was. So we will kind of push forward to... Well, we got to do the drawbridge, don't we? Anyway, we can kind of talk about some of the things as I've pushed past the majority of what my mission is requested for of me. There's a lot of really good environmental storytelling in the game. Here's a character here that I could probably talk to, and then you guys can figure out what he has to offer, and you can help him or not. Puzzles that you can put together, tons of loot, search everywhere, don't leave any stone unturned, especially when you start to get into the housing areas. Again, Pero Joplin, we can read the river crust reproduction and get a bunch of lore here, which is extremely fun. Highly recommend you doing that, because to miss out on a lot of this lore is to miss out on probably 50% of what there is Well, I say that's a little too much, but a lot of the juiciness is in the lore. So we talked about the loot, we talked about the combat, we talked about certain locations and characters. Um, we talked about a lot of lore, yes. Some of the survival stuff. The only thing I could probably say: keep quiet, eat, and heal. And if you can, try to consume your instant food uh, that will heal you that are laying around versus using your elixirs. So yeah, save your elixirs for emergencies, and then have a familiarity with what you have available in your wheel, and you can switch to these things on the fly. So I can, even though I don't have it in my up, down, left, right on the D-pad, you can still select it and then quickly use it. But if you want to use it more frequently, you're coming to an area that you're familiar with, then you can jump into adding it to that fast up, down, left, right. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything for Dishonored that I have seen. Again, this isn't a review of Dishonored. It is a look and a taste of what the game has to offer, and hopefully, it's something that gives you an idea if it's something that you want to play. If you have access to the Game Pass library, congratulations, you have access to a ton of great games. If you're watching this on the YouTube archive, do me a favor, jump down in the comments section. Tell me what you think. Tell me a game that you'd like to see me stream in the future. So drop the title in the comments, and then join me over on Twitch whenever I go live. I go live with a ton of games. The community over there has been very generous and very active in my channel, and I kind of appreciate them dropping by. And if they don't mind, Charcoal Snack kind of started this off. She was the first suggestion with Dark Souls, which got me into that game. Fantasy P did a Yakuza, that was episode 12. Z-Roll69 suggested a game called Hellblade: Sinuous Sacrifice, that was episode 13. DJ Updog suggested Hollow Knight, that was episode 14. Sick Dorito suggested Hades. That's a small game that probably no one knows about, at least when it wins Game of the Year. So yeah, Sick Dorito suggested Hades. That was episode 15. Elden Genius, and a lot of these individuals come from different parts of the world. Like DJ Updog comes from Finland. Elden Genius comes from Germany. Zero69, Romania. Charcoal Snack comes from the UK. I mean, they're all over the world, and it's been really good. So if you have time, jump down in the comment section or join me on a live stream and drop your suggested game in the comments. Elden Genius suggested a game called Unto the End. That was episode 16. And I actually had the designers of the game, Steven, jump into the YouTube and send me a whisper saying he appreciated the video and if I had any questions. So I think I'm going to return to Unto the End and try to see if I can get through that without dying, because I know there's secrets yet to be found. Captain Darth requested Cuphead, and that game was nuts. Sir Chico requested Dark Souls 3, and TTS Master requested Subnautica. That was episode 18. And now Joker 151517. Joker, this one's for you. Dishonored, this is episode 19. Sleepy Milk requested It Takes Two. That's going to be episode 20. And then Sinful Eternity, who likes to be called Sin, requested Back for Blood. That'll be episode 21. So I hope that those that are lurking, and I'm not looking at the comments because I'm trying not to get too distracted to get through this episode, and I will join you guys later. I've got about another 6 minutes, so let's see if I can get up here and get these drawbridge lights turned off. I think I've covered pretty much everything in my notes for Dishonored, so as we kind of end out here, I just would like to say in the end, play your way. There are pathways, stealth, or combat. This game has it in spades, and it executes it well. Pick up loot, coins, and you'll use that to make purchases and upgrades. There are environmental puzzles throughout the game, so feel free to solve those. You have joined a resistance. As I said before, the summary of the game is someone has been assassinated. You're trying to build a resistance, or not build a resistance, but join the resistance and help them discover and put the right person on the throne. This is an episodic chapter, so you can finish a chapter or a mission, and before you go back to the Hound Pub, which is sort of the hub area, you can replay this mission over again and try to get everything, kill no one, be silent and undetected, collect all the coins, and it'll give you that stat at the end. And then you can return to it. If you've completely finished the game, you can start a chapter at your leisure and try different types of runs with different types of builds for those 100%ers. Explore, explore, explore. Gain experience, that's the EXP in explore, and enjoy the lore. So explore, explore, explore. Talk with everyone. Don't rush to the next checkpoint. If you really want to get familiar with the areas and be a little more intimate with what the story has to offer, turn off these checkpoints. You have that option. That'll let you kind of move around the space at your pace. There is an area that I didn't get to show you here, and I'll let you explore that. There's sort of a other world. It's called the Void, and it's a character called the Outsider. And the Outsider kind of gives you your first ability, the blink right here. And those places are really cool to see, so I'll let you discover those on your own. But there are other places and very mysterious things in the game. Seek runes and bone charms, and those are these things that I've been collecting with the heart. Oh, and I need to touch on the heart. I've got about another 3 minutes. I'm going to go over an hour. I try to keep these streams at an hour. That heart is my favorite thing in the game, and maybe I save the best for last. So use your heart to find runes and bone charms. They will give you an advantage in combat and probably save you more times than you think. So explore them, become familiar with what they offer you, and then make your build yours the way that you want to play. And again, you can exchange all of these things back and forth for what it is that you prefer. So the heart, we'll end out with the heart. I love this heart. I have a couple of ideas where the heart came from and who the heart belongs to, but I talked about lore a lot in this stream, and if you want to know more about the area, you can pull this heart out and just ask her to talk about it by pulling the left trigger.
Minerals, farm animals, the vials of liquid mysteries. All these and more are necessary for his experiments.
And it's not just one.
It's heavy and stale. Some acrid powders still linger in it.
Now, she does this for every area of the game. Not necessarily, like, I don't think if I'm looking at this bridge, she will talk about the bridge. Maybe she will.
Sees the captain of the helm and the tusked leviathan. What do you see in the stars?
Now, that isn't only for areas. If I can get a character like this right here,
His father was one of the first to die of the plague. A street thug, a knife for hire.
now this is a small NPC. If you do this with major NPCs like Sokolov, like Campbell, and I'm saying names here that you might not be familiar with, but Emily Caldwin, I talked about Empress Jessamine, everybody, every NPC in the game, you can do this. And I love this about the game, are these small little... I recently downloaded Deathloop. It's on sale. It's 50% off. And that's also Arcane Studios. I put that one on the PlayStation 5. And it's stuff like this that Arcane Studios does so well. I also have Prey. Prey is also another game by Arcane Studios, which is also in the Game Pass library. So maybe someone could suggest that one. But yeah, I hope this gave you a taste. It was an hour stream. That's what I try to stick to. Sometimes they go a little bit longer. But again, the way that it works is if you suggest a game, I'll play it for at least an hour to become familiar with it. Sometimes I play it for even longer. The Yakuza stream, I played Yakuza Like a Dragon for almost 20 hours before I streamed that one, just so that I could unlock a bunch of stuff that game has to offer. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I know I wasn't paying attention to the the chat, but I'll do that right now. I sometimes get distracted when I look at the chat, but Joker, this stream was for you, so I appreciate you stopping by. I hope that I did Dishonored justice. I love this game. I did play it and finish it when it was originally released. But Zero also in the chat, thank you very much for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. You know what? I'll actually just kind of catch up on the stream, and we'll just kind of chill over here with some view here. I think it's Dishonor not to check in there. I only sleep on Sundays. Yes, Zero. I only sleep on Sundays. Yeah, Joker, this is your request. They're saying hi back and forth to each other. I was trying to make a joke. I didn't mean for that to come off the way that it did. Tried today, see if there's anything in there. Just got back from spending Thanksgiving with my dad and his wife. So I've been traveling all day. That's good. I mean, happy Thanksgiving to those that were able to spend it with friends and family. Joker's not a big turkey guy. Family does noodles. Yeah, pretty much a conversation of back and forth. Joker says, the outsider, which is that character in the void, is attractive, and that's all they have to say about that. All right. So that's going to do it for me. If you guys are chilling in the stream, I'm probably going to start another stream after this. My next episode after Dishonored is, I believe, for It Takes Two. So I've started to stream my prep for these episodes. So yeah, my next one is Sleepy Milk requested It Takes Two. So I'm probably going to start a stream immediately after this one, and I'll be more active because I'm not trying to make an episode. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you guys on the next episode, hopefully in episode 19 for It Takes Two. All right, guys.